Hello there, Ben Bowers, the Spirit Specialist, and I am here today to talk to you about Brookie's Mac, which is part of this little run of videos for Australian spirits in honour of Australia Day, which at the time of recording is next week on the 26th of January. And this is from the Cape Byron Distillery, which is on the east coast of Australia. It's about an hour and 45-minute drive south of Brisbane. And it's in a region that was previously known as the Big Scrub. Now, Australia isn't really a country that you would associate with rainforest, but actually it is a rainforest climate, and the Big Scrub was the largest subtropical rainforest in Australia. But unfortunately, within 10 years of the first white settlements arriving, it was practically all destroyed, and now there is only 1% that remains of it. In 1998, a husband and wife team called Pam and Martin Brooke purchased a rundown dairy farm that included a 96-acre estate, and they took the decision to essentially regenerate the entire area and reintroduce this kind of rainforest reserve. So part of it is rainforest. There is also a macadamia orchard as well, which is kind of handy because that's what we're dealing with in this liqueur. So they have a distillery in place. Their son Eddie, who had previously worked in the drinks industry and also in distilling, is the master distiller. And in 2014, they encountered a gentleman called Jim McEwen, who, if you've got any interest in whiskey, you probably will have heard of. He's arguably the most famous man, particularly with regards to Islay whiskies. He was master distiller at Bowmore and worked at the distillery for 38 years. He then left Bowmore and ended up going to Brookie, where he was there for another 15 years. He retired at the age of 50, but then ended up kind of coming out of retirement and essentially working as a mentor for loads of distilleries. He's involved in the Ardenhove project, which is another new distillery on the Isle of Islay, but he has helped almost as a consultant for a number of new distilleries around the world. He's worked on Cavalland, he's worked on Spirit of Yorkshire, and he's been heavily involved with Eddie with the Cape Byron Distillery. So they do a number of spirits. They have a whiskey on the go, which should be available in a few years' time. They do a gin. They do something called a slow gin, but it's SLOW gin, because they don't have slows in Australia, but it's a native plum called the Davidson plum, which gives a very similar type of flavour. But what they also have is this liqueur, Brookie's Mac, and so called because it uses macadamia nuts from their orchard. It's actually uses a base, which is a wheat-based spirit that they then steep the macadamia nuts, the shells of the macadamia, which is quite unusual, and also Wattleseed, which is a seed from a species of acacia tree that was traditionally used by Aboriginals as a bush food. So it would be used either green, so kind of like raw or slightly cooked, or it could be dried, milled, and ground up and then used to make essentially like a form of bread. So it's a really nutty characteristic. So this is 23% ABV. I have had this previously on a tasting and I thought it was absolutely fantastic, but let me have another try of it and I'll try and give you an idea of what we're looking at. In terms of the price, we are looking at £34.49 as well. I have had the slow gin in earlier, but I'm actually out of stock of it at the moment, and I need to order some more in. So that's not going to be part of this run, but eventually when it does come back, I will be doing a video review of that. So, Brookie's Mac Liqueur. On the nose, there is a nuttiness, but it's very soft and it's quite coffee-ish. There's coffee and sweet caramel as well. You know those sort of chocolate selection boxes you get, and you get the caramel chocolates, and you get the ones that are really hard that if you put them in the fridge you practically break your teeth, but you also get those runny soft caramel chocolates as well. And if you can imagine one of those with a sweet milk chocolate around it, there is coffee in there. It's not a bitter coffee, it's a strong coffee, you know, not milky sweet, but we're not talking like earthy espresso as well. And you do get those nuts, you get that macadamia nut, you get a kind of hazelnutty character, but it's really well balanced. It's quite soft and subdued, but all the flavours are there. Let's see what it's like to taste. It's so nice. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm not a big fan of nuts. I don't really like hazelnuts. I don't really like Brazil nuts or pecans or anything like that. I can deal with it, but I'm not a massive fan. However, this I think is absolutely brilliant. There's that coffee element, there's caramel, there is nuts, but it's a lovely sweet nuttiness on it. This is going to be amazing in an espresso martini. It will go really well over ice cream. It drinks brilliantly well on its own. Just stick a bottle in the fridge. It actually drinks quite well at room temperature. There are a lot of liqueurs out there, but because of the inherent sweetness of them, the warmer they get, the more sickly sweet they get, the more cloying. But to be honest, because this is a little bit on the lighter side, nothing is overpowering. There isn't the flavors that are in there aren't in your face, but they're brilliantly balanced. And as a result of that, at a room temperature, the sweetness kind of helps, but doesn't become too overpowering. I'm getting now a kind of a toasted brioche element as well, that the nuttiness is turning into kind of like sweet bread. There's raisins in there, there is this kind of coffee, there's chocolate, there's all sorts of stuff going on there. Now, on their website, they actually recommend their cocktail. They call it an Easy Mac, and it is as simple as Brookie's Mac over ice with a slice of lime. That's it. And that lime element would go, if you just kind of like, just give the lime a gentle squeeze before you throw it in the glass with it, works brilliantly with that. A little citrus kick in there. Love to try this with cocktails. This would probably go quite well with Coke as well, to be perfectly honest, as a long drink. Tonic won't really go. Lemonade might be a little bit too sweet. Over ice cream as a kind of nutty affogato will work really well. Anything that needs Frangelico, any cocktail that has Frangelico, that will work as a ideal replacement, but it's less hazelnutty. It's a bit more of a coffee element as well. Bang a shot in your coffee just to give yourself a boozy coffee as well. I really, really like this. It keeps changing, it keeps evolving, and it lasts as well. That sweet coffee, toffee, nutty element. There's kind of like that Caramac bar, that caramel element as well. It just keeps going. You keep tasting it all the time. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It really is good. As a slightly unusual liqueur, you know, if you don't like nuts at all, you might still get on with this, because I don't like nuts. I really am not a nutty fan, but I think this is phenomenal. There is a slight citrus element coming through now as well. It really does change a lot. There's a hell of a lot going on with this. It looks kind of cool. I think I do like the bottle as well. It's hefty as well. You don't want to drop this on your foot. And I think it's really good value for money. They talk about butterscotch on the label as well. And actually there is kind of like a nice butterscotchy in there. So if you like toffee, if you like coffee, if you like caramel, if you like sweet nutty things as well, this has everything in one bottle. It's absolutely fantastic. And it's a decent price as well. So I do recommend it. It is available through our website, www.spiritspecialist.com. I feel like I did too many W's there. It's entirely possible I did. But yes, it's available through our website. We do nationwide delivery across the UK. You can also pop in our store in East Yorkshire, pick yourself up a bottle. I've got a little bit left if you did want to try before you buy. But in all honesty, I would recommend just buying it, because I seriously doubt you're not going to like this. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So that's me done, and I shall see you at the next video. Cheers.